mimosas.
Your favorite living gal pals.
Miss Avocado.
And Wanda Gag.
And joining us today in the podcast room is the one, the only Ondine. I know. Oh, no cameras. Oh, don't clap, just throw flowers. Yeah.
And money.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have a tagline? I forgot to ask you.
No.
All right.
You can come up. I do have one. Somebody made one for me, but I can't say it on camera.
Oh. Does it include swears? We can't say swears.
Might.
Oh.
That's fine.
No, you're fine.
Oh.
Oh, not those kind of swears. Got it.
Oh.
Got it. Heard. All right.
Gotcha.
I'm
Just
listening
fucking say it.
and I am learning. But yes. So, Bloodbath Ball winner 2023. Yes. Correct.
Correct.
Period.
Drag Duels Cycle 2 Twinner.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes!
And winner of life.
Our hearts.
Our hearts.
Oh.
Welcome.
What are your pronouns? Pronouns.
Mhm.
Pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
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 So what meant to say was that h's pronouns are something.
Fuck right off with all that.
Was that something? Is that something about something?
I don't know.
There's mysteries here. I'm gonna unearth them.
How long have you been doing drag now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. 2 and about a half years. 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah, I just hit my 2 year back in June.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a half, almost to 3.
You're a pride baby. That's right.
I am a pride baby. Not last year, 2023 was the first pride I ever went to.
No shit.
And nobody believed me. I was going around and I was like, this is my first pride. And they were like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, no, I genuinely.
They're like, gay.
Gay-bo!
You knew. Where was your first performance?
My first performance was at the Gay 90s. I was attending one day after work, and I was like, what if I sew a dress really quick? So I showed this, like, really shitty, like, back front 4-way stretch, like out of my ass mermaid gown.
Yeah, baby.
Topped an Etsy corset over that, no wig, full makeup, like 20-minute face. And I grabbed my friend and we ran in to watch the Wednesday night, just like for fun, for shiggles. And it was great. It was lovely. I had so much fun. And a couple of queens came up to me, like during somebody else's performance, and they were like, "So, who are you?
Who are you?
Like, what's your deal?
Tell me about yourself."
And I was like, "Oh my gosh." As we're leaving the bar, my friend grabs me and he goes, "Okay, so next week you're starting. Next week you're doing the open stage." And I was like, "Well, I don't have anything." And he goes, "You're gonna figure it out."
You're gonna figure it out. You figured it out tonight.
Oh my god, I figured it out, and I got second place, which was crazy because I was expecting to get booed off the stage, and that did not happen, which was super fun and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it went from there.
Listen, if somebody tried to boo you off the stage, a lot of shots would have been like, "Hey, Gay 90s! Stop that!"
But no, it was super fun. I loved it. I performed like religiously the Wednesday nights at the 90s. I just loved them. It was my favorite thing in the world. And then I started, I heard about Bloodbath, so I applied for that. Didn't really understand what it was. They were like, there's a talent section, and I didn't understand that meant you could do a number. So I was like, fuck, what's a talent that I have? I don't sing, I don't really dance, I don't like juggle. So I sat down and I speed painted Cher on my skirt.
Now listen.
That was
iconic and sickening, and that constitutes a talent number. I don't know. I watched it. I liked it.
It was, the thing is, even at the time, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, because I'm doing like the song Paint It Black, because I'm painting and it's in black, and it's going into Believe by Cher, because it's Cher.
It's Cher.
And I was like, this is like so crazy, and everyone came up to me afterwards, and they were like, that was great, it was so camp, and I was like, Camp. Like, I did not get it.
Camp. Did you also?
I think what they meant to say is avant-garde. That was new.
Yes.
That
was something fresh.
Did you also forget to like lip sync while you were painting?
Yeah.
Were you planning to from the moment the number started, or were you just gonna be like, I'm out here, there's music playing, but I am painting? Like,
I think I was planning on lip syncing as soon as I finished the painting and I got up to show the skirt.
Yeah.
Then I would start lip syncing from there, and I kind of forgot everything as soon as I got on stage. I was like, fuck, paint.
I mean, but you were focused on other things. There were other things at hand. You were painting Cher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I had so much fun with it. I was like, as soon as the competition ended, I was like, I did not do very well, but I had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And, also, I didn't understand until people started asking me about, like, Bloodbath and about, like, similar things that I was a spooky queen. I knew that I painted a little bigger and a little, like, different than
Fancy.
everyone else, but I was pretty convinced that I was a passion girl.
I mean, you could
People
do
were
it.
like, I love that you're like a spooky, like this like spooky like alternative, and I was like, what?
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 I love that you do you no matter what. That's so fun.
Love
yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the mug, just for a quick, can you explain your like eye corners?
Eye corners.
Like, the,
Walk us through the mug. Yes, what's the inspiration?
Okay.
Let's do that.
So the inspiration, I'm not even shitting you. It's me.
Well, yes.
you.
I used to do my makeup for my senior year of high school every single day. I'd wake up at like 6 a.m. so I could sit in the darkness with just my little ring light mirror from Marshall's and do my face for 2 hours, and that was like how I woke up, how I got ready. I would get to school. People were either like enthralled and they loved it, or they called me a clown and they wanted to take pictures to make fun of me. I loved it regardless. I thought it was
Attention
great.
And that's how you knew we were going to do drag. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I look back at old photos sometimes and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do with my face. And then I will use the shapes that I used from those old photos and just put them into my face with the updated things that I do now. Like I bring my inner corners all the way down to the tips of my nose. Just because my eyes are just big doe eyes.
Yeah.
big doe eyes.
Big doe
The
tear ducts.
femininity.
Yes.
Sometimes I will add some extra eyeballs on my head or like under here just because I don't always love painting on eyebrows and it's easier for me to paint eyes.
That's crazy.
Today I did eyebrows.
Ah.
And for the middle it felt lacking, so I added a little wound, just
Mm-hmm.
a little. I bumped my head.
I liked it because
Over here.
it's like you had a third eye, but you were like, I've seen too much.
Well, that was the election. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I just have some little like veiny moments going on. They're from stress, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finals were hard.
And then yeah, the rest of it is just my skin.
Yeah.
Natural.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Naturally pale.
I don't wear a lot of makeup.
Oh.
It's not for me.
No, not for me at all.
No.
No. You know, in high school, at the beginning of it, I used to not wear anything. The most I would do is like thin layer of the most neutral colored lip gloss I could find. Probably from Morphe because that was like
Cheap.
the shit at the time. And I could not wear anything else. I was like, mascara, like I'm not a whore. Jesus Christ.
Oh. And now look at you.
Now look at
Christian
you.
Exactly
whore.
the same.
A demure little Christian
Mm-hmm.
with a ruffle. I love it.
How'd you get your drag name?
Yes.
How did I get my drag name? I am named after a French/Latin mythological being named Ondine. I think there are different stories, elements in the movie, in the play. The play originally starred Audrey Hepburn. I have the poster of it in my room. Like a fisherman like schleps her up from the sea in the net, and then she's like this being. I haven't actually watched the play. I did watch the movie a long time ago, and it was terrible.
Oh.
Awful. But in mythology, there was like a king or something, I don't remember, a guy who she was with, and he was like, I will love you till my dying breath, and then he's unfaithful, and then she's like, I'm gonna hold you to that then. So with every waking breath I will love you. So she curses him so that if he falls asleep, he stops breathing. So he eventually dies of exhaustion.
Oh my god.
And there's a real
Metal.
disease called Ondine's curse, where it's just a really severe form of sleep apnea, where if you fall asleep, you essentially stop breathing. So a lot of people don't make it very far, and they need a lot of machinery to keep them breathing.
Oh my god.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
metal.
But
That is metal.
I'm named after that mythological sea creature, nymph play moment thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Originally starring Audrey Hepburn, who I
Audrey
love.
Hepburn.
Love her.
She's so cool. Like, gorgeous, of course, great actress, sometimes singer, and
Activist, right?
incredible activist. Like, did a lot. I believe, during, was it Holocaust times? I truly don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she was big on that, and I think that's pretty sick. I need to look more.
She was
into
big on
that.
the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Good shit.
Yeah.
I like her.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of performances can we expect from you, Ondine? For anyone that hasn't seen you perform somehow.
Well, yes.
Well, yes.
A high fashion moment.
Call myself the dancing diva, may not.
May not.
Mayhaps not. I do not dance per se.
You may prance.
I feel a bit, when I try to dance, like a newborn deer, like a newborn horse that's kind of, like, still a little bit wiggly and kind of doesn't know where to put its limbs. They kind of, like, bend backwards and it's still kind of squishy. Like, that's how I feel when I try to dance, so I don't. Instead, I sort of just...
Oh, the armography's there.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's all I know how to do, if you will. Potentially on purpose. But yeah, a lot of walking, prancing, if you will, a lot of spinning. I love a spin. I love making big, full skirts that have a pretty spin. I love oversized circle skirts. So if you lay a circle skirt flat, it's a circle. But you can cut it and add another circle skirt in there so that if you lay it completely flat, it can never be flat. And it just adds so much volume, and I think it's gorgeous. So I love, like 620-degree circle skirts, like
the best
a lot of
kind.
circle.
Big, fucking billowy, lots of fabric, looks expensive.
You could do some
Yes.
folklorico dancing if you wanted.
You could.
That's how you make a folklorico skirt.
It is.
Yeah.
That would be so good if I danced.
Well, it doesn't take much dance.
use the arms,
You
you
use
go.
the arms. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
See? That's made for you.
If we
Yeah.
could gift that, that would be the promo. Alright.
Like conducting.
Yes.
So what kind of art backgrounds do you have?
Art backgrounds. I was raised by I perhaps still am being raised, he's not dead, by a sculptor who has done work globally now, actually. He mostly focuses on sports figures. Like, if you know anything about Chicago at all, he's done so many, dude. Harry Carey very recently, Ryan Sandberg, Fergie Jenkins, a while back, Ernie Banks, bunch for the Sox. He's done for, like, Michigan, Seattle, California. His studio has done like statues of Kobe, and they also did the Beckham statue a while back. My dad actually worked on like the soccer ball for it. He wasn't a huge part of the statue, but he worked on the ball. I got to meet David Beckham.
What?
At the studio.
Word.
Didn't know who he was.
Oh.
I'm standing there. I have a picture with him. I was in like 7th grade, and I'm.
Did your dad just be like, "Hey, do you want to take a picture with this guy?" And you're like, "Yeah, I
he
guess."
He was like, "Mr. Like, would you please take a picture with my daughter?" And he was, of course, he's very nice. Did not know who this man was. I'm saying, on the way home, I was like, "Who was that again?" And I felt terrible. I felt terrible after I started looking him up, and I was like, "Oh, this is like not an insignificant." And now I see his face everywhere. Posters for like Burberry, for perfumes, for everything and everything. I met that one.
Yeah. That's iconic. You're like, I don't know who you are, but yeah, sure, a photo, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then most recently, he did a piece for the Vatican. It's in a place called St. Paul's, outside the walls, and I don't remember exactly how that relates to the Vatican, but it's of Frances Cabrini, Mother Cabrini. She was a saint, and she was super dope. She was like really good with like immigrants, and helping them, being herself an immigrant as well. So the statue was with her, and my dad had a bunch of the family members do little violets that are by her feet. So myself and a bunch of my family has each like a couple of little flowers by her feet.
That's so cool.
It is, it's fun.
So Ondine has art of the Vatican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
And then ever since I was like little, he would have me have my literal fingerprints somewhere on the statue, whether that be helping with, you know, just shaving some extra clay off of like the belt or smoothing things out. But usually on the patches like that are on the sleeves or whatever, Or on the chest, he would have me stick like my thumbprint in the nose of like a little bear if it was the cubs. And more recently, he'll have me like just sculpt the entire patch, and then I'll usually carve my initials into the eyes.
Cute. Okay, so if you look really close into the eyes of these,
You can see an O and a C, and they're really tiny.
Very tiny. And then you have like a drawing background too, right? Like you've just been drawing for the longest time?
Yes, I've always drawn. It's just something I've always enjoyed doing. I went to like art classes for a little while. It was, they were mostly based in, understanding how to like recreate reference photos. So they would help you fix proportions from looking at a reference photo. They would help you fix colors. Often like people would make things way too light and they'd be like, no, like you have to look at the values and see this. And that was for a few years I did that. But now I do not draw as much as I wish I did. I do love it still, but I love painting too. Sometimes I'll just do a little black and white portrait because it's nice and easy. It's fun. But yeah, I have a good time with it.
Yeah. Except for there was that one time you drew a person like this and the shoulder blades were really off.
What?
Yeah, I had a drawing teacher in college who, she was lovely. She's not an artist. And I had a figure. It was a fashion figure that was posed, oh my gosh, like this. And
the fashion stomach ache, yes.
Yeah, you know, kind of like just arched forward, like elbows very forward. And she goes, the shoulder blades are too far forward, and they were where they are in the body. I know this because I took a reference photo of myself to see where the shoulder lied and where the arms, like how they were proportioned. And I just extended everything a little bit to make it longer, to make it a fashion figure, because I'm not very tall. And this teacher's trying to find something. She's grasping at straws.
And the whole class chimed in.
It was absolutely silly. And there were things that I could correct about that figure, like completely. I acknowledged a bunch of them. But she was trying to find other things and was not...
Shall we stick to the garment? Shall we stick to the garment, teacher? Shall we?
She was a great textiles teacher.
Yeah, love
Very
her.
Very talented in that. She's great. She's lovely. Just,
It was so funny.
Semester?
That
No,
was
it was
last semester.
Last
That
semester.
was spring of 24.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a call-out post.
No, we love her. Stop.
I don't go to school there.
Yeah. Yeah, you should see Ondine's fashion drawings. They're very good.
Oh,
Put them
yeah.
on the screen.
Fashion.
I don't know where to
fashion.
find them, actually, because you don't post them anywhere.
I don't.
No.
Would you
I'll
consider
send you
posting
some.
them somewhere?
I don't know. Maybe if I have some good ones.
Fair
I
enough.
feel like on your Atelier page, you need to start posting some, like...
I need to post at all on there.
Yeah.
I just don't.
That's okay.
I
That's
should.
okay. Well,
That could be where you put the fashion drawing.
Yeah.
If you have a really good one that you like. Or just a regular one. I feel like people would live to see it.
I am trying to get back into, I tried once bead embroidery, and that went really well. That was really fun. I did like a human heart. So I would like to get back into that and maybe post a couple of those on there.
Yeah.
If I make anything else.
so you are known for sewing your garments. What got you into sewing?
Necessity.
Necessity.
I didn't want to buy my garments. It just felt like cheating to me. Like, I don't really hold anything against anybody who does purchase their garments. But no, I just personally, I think it's also because I can't dance that I don't do a whole lot on stage. I'm like, I need something to hold on to as a skill. So I just started learning how to sew, and I hated it at first. Like, I really, really did not enjoy it.
It's a hard thing to get into.
It is.
It was, and also, like, I pretty much only knew how to work with, like, 4-way stretch. So it was that and my singer Against the World. My singer did not like it. She did not have a good time. She much preferred when we got into satins and wovens, just because it's so much easier to do a straight stitch. And then one day I was talking with somebody and they had a coat. It was a drag brunch, and I looked at it and it was for one of their looks, and I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Like, is this lined? And she went, no, it's not. I make costumes. I don't make garments. And that hit me so hard. I was like, holy shit, that's it. That's what I want. I want to make garments, not costumes. I make costumes, but I want to make garments. So then I went to started going to school for it on a whim. I spent less time trying to determine whether or not I should go to college than for my septum piercing. I decided to go to college within like 2 weeks maybe of of hearing that, which is crazy. I feel like my biggest life decisions are the ones that I make on a whim.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of okay with that. But no,
you stuck to it, so period.
Like, blessed be that conversation that got me into school and actually helped me to learn how to love sewing, because I really do genuinely enjoy it a lot now. I think especially because I have a better machine, I have better equipment, and my skills have just improved to a point where I'm a lot more comfortable with things, and I'm having fun learning. I feel like I'm at the very beginning, and I feel like there's so far to go, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Who was this conversation with?
It was with Luna Muse.
Oh,
period.
It was for Nightmare Before Christmas brunch, and it was a Jack Skellington coat.
That sounds exactly like something she would say.
Word.
I don't make garments, I make costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. I loved it.
Oh no,
I thought it was great.
she knows how to make stuff for
She
herself
can.
Oh my God.
and herself only.
It's incredible though.
Yeah.
She can turn that shit out in like a week if she's got 3 costumes for brunch, girl.
Mm-mm.
Couldn't be me.
The mental
Couldn't be me.
stamina, I could not.
Yeah.
Did you make what you're wearing today?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
I made the ruff. I made the sleeve, just a little like puff sleeve moment. This is like a little corset thing. I have a little skirt that's just a bunch of shit schlepped together.
And it's boned. The corset is boned.
The corset is boned. The
Steel.
corset's boned. It's laced. It's grommet.
A corset's
and-
boned. Anyways.
So what is your favorite thing that you've ever made?
That
for
I've
yourself?
ever made. Ooh, I don't know. For the first year that I did Bloodbath, I made a like cotton candy dress.
Mm-hmm.
That it was made out of like hula hoops and aluminum
I remember
foil
this dress.
and spray painted fiber fill that I hot glued to the hula hoops to make like a makeshift hoop skirt that I was tried to make look like cotton candy, and I carved a like a rotary saw blade out of foam, and I cut like a bite out of it almost so I could glue it to my side so it looked like it had like hit me in my side. I had cotton candy on the arms. I had a little party hat that had more of the like cotton candy on top of it. And I to this day, I really love that look. It fell apart as soon as I got home, so I've never gotten to wear it again. But I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. But I also love my Queen of Hearts dress, which
She's up there. Hang on. The face you gave us is right up here.
Thank you. I made a plaster cast of my face.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then I used a thermoplastic that you like melt with a heat gun to
Gorla
shape
or
it. Yeah.
period.
To shape it around the cast of my face, and then cut it into a heart, and then I sort of heated up the edges a little bit so that they were soft, and I could rip them up so it would look a little more fleshy. And I just painted them. So
That's
that's
cunty.
me. And I made 21 of those to leather punch holes all around and then hand stitch onto the dress. Because I was like, if the Queen of Hearts made her own dress, I feel like she would use her victims in it. But what if the
Absolutely.
victims were all me? Because I think that's adorable.
She's chopped off enough heads. You gotta. She has too many. She doesn't have enough spikes for that, so you just
like,
gotta
there's
wear
a
them.
sense of vanity, I feel like,
Yeah.
in it, and I love it.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, that's perfect because Crochet asked them the questions how you made that. So that's you already answered it.
More on that later, Crow.
More on it later. We already got
No.
it.
Damn it. More on that before.
So you are currently starting to take commissions. What kind of things are you wanting to make and sell to folks?
I'm very comfortable making corsets right now. I think as long as I have like the front length measurement, as well as what the closed waist size people want, it's pretty easy to have it close and fit like a glove, but also if like your body fluctuates at all, because I have had that happen with people where I've made them things and then they like lose a bunch of weight. You can, it's very forgiving with, you know, the lace up back, so you can gain a little bit, lose a little bit. If you're a little bloated that day, if you're just feeling a little skinty, like it can still be comfortable no matter what. And I'm not comfortable selling anything that I wouldn't be excited to wear myself, and these I do enjoy wearing. They're really comfy on the inside. They feel structural. I haven't really had any mishaps with any damage or any like breakage or anything falling apart, seams, anything like that. They feel really solid. So those I love sewing. I have a lot of fun with them, and I'm excited to sell those to people.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
also like a circle skirt, if you want one of those included. That's how a lot of my outfits go. It's a corset and a circle skirt.
If
Some
you want to
accessories, some
haunt a
sleeves.
Victorian mansion, Ondine can make the look for you.
Gotcha.
No, Nosferatu's just come out. If you're
Mm.
looking for
Oh,
anything
yes.
inspired.
Did you see that movie yet?
I did. I loved it. I actually thought it was beautiful. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's on our list.
So, have you
there a
seen the
love
original?
scene?
No.
No, haven't.
Okay.
I understand there's a sex scene.
There sure is.
Okay.
There sure are.
Well, you don't have to tell me about that, but tell me more about Nosferatu.
So the original from 1922 is black and white. It's a silent film. It just has some like vocalization, like music placed over it. And that one it's good. It's cool. It's the beginning of both of them is a bit slow, I think. But there are like little moments that I'm just like, oh, like I love that in this character. Like Ellen, the main female protagonist, if you will, in both of the movies, because they do keep them very similar. Her husband gives her flowers, and she's like, why did you kill them? Like, why did you kill these beautiful flowers?
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, like I love that. Like, it's a simple thing.
Yeah.
And I don't elaborate very much on it. In the original movie, she's just kind of like melancholy about it. In the new one that's just come out, she gets really angry. But I think that's like, it just tells you a little something about her character. Not entirely sure what that is yet, but like it gives you a sense of like who she is. And then
It's personification.
yeah, how much of the story am I allowed to spoil?
I have never seen it, and I probably won't. If you don't want Nosferatu spoiled for you, you can skip to insert timestamp here. I don't know. Yeah.
Walk a mile in these Louboutins.
But the way to, I guess, defeat him, because he's like obsessed with this woman and he's like bringing plagues onto the city, is for her to willingly give her blood.
Oh.
So in the original, she kind of just like, she understands this and she freely sort of like lets him in and lets him like have the blood, and he like, it's just like a silly scene where he's kind of like hovering over her and like she's laying on the bed and he's just like at the neck, and it's just like funny. But in the new one that's just come out, they like have sex over it.
Oh. They have sex about it.
They do have sex about it. And something that I also found interesting that I enjoyed about the movie is that in vampire movies they always go for the neck, I feel. He went straight for the heart. In pretty much all of his victims. And something that I also never realized that I've never heard in vampire movies is that in this one they added the sound of him drinking. So you could like hear him like swallowing the liquid, like swallowing the blood, and it was kind of gross, but I was like, this is such an interesting detail.
That's visceral.
The lighting in the new film was beautiful. I don't know, I loved it. I love a long movie. Like
how long
the
was
Wind.
it?
I love it. It was 2 hours and I think 18 minutes.
That's like an acceptable one.
That's an acceptable one.
Because like
Yeah.
Wicked was 3 hours, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's not pitch perfect, but it's not Wicked. It's in the middle.
The only thing is that it felt long.
Okay.
It wasn't like Wicked felt quite short
Yeah.
for its length. This one is longer and it feels longer. But it was beautiful. I loved it. I thought like the scenery, the acting, a lot of, I feel like historical movies that are made in more modern times kind of struggle with an aspect of not necessarily accent, but like the tone of which they're speaking, it feels very modern. And you're just like, something's not right here. This doesn't
off. Yeah.
feel correct. But this movie did not struggle with that at all. This one felt like an old movie. And I loved it. It was, I don't know, I like no complaints, honestly.
Period.
I thought it was really good.
So you're a horror fan then?
Yes, and that's a
Period.
more recent thing. I
More
didn't
recent.
start getting into horror until like probably actually my senior year of high school. I always loved going to the video rental store. They don't have those anymore. But I'd go to
We call
family
it
video
Netflix
with my
nowadays.
dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I'd go to family video with my dad. I'd like do the gumball machine, and if you got the color of the week, then you got a $1 movie for free.
Ooh, that's cute actually.
I loved it, but my family wasn't into horror movies, and I was too scared to watch them, and I was like never wanted to ask for them because I didn't want to watch them. But I love looking at the covers. I was like, ooh, these are spooky and they're like cool.
And then you watch them and you're like, too spooky. Never mind.
No, I couldn't watch them.
That's fair.
Then I got older and then I started watching them and I was like, oh, I actually love these. Like, these are great.
Yeah.
So a lot of classics that everyone's seen I haven't, just because it was a slightly more recent thing, but I've been trying to catch up, and many of the ones that I've seen I do love. Some of the ones that I was expecting to love I actually hated, which
Like what?
was like Annabelle. Like Annabelle was so hyped up when I was like in elementary school or whatever, And we were all like, oh my god, like the movie poster's like walking by like the AMC with it on the poster. It's like, oh, so scary. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, it sucks, dude.
I
It's
feel
terrible. And I loved the Conjuring movies. I love the Conjuring
Conjuring was so
series.
good.
I
Conjuring was
love like the 3 of them. I think they're great.
Yeah.
3, right?
Yeah, 3. I haven't seen the
4?
third one. I've only seen the first and the second
Because
one.
there's Conjuring, the Conjuring 2, and the Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I thought you
exactly
were about
it.
to say The Devil Wears Prada. I was like, yeah.
And the Devil Wears Prada, the scariest
One
one.
of my favorites.
It's cerulean.
It's not blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis.
It's actually cerulean.
It's the breathing.
So what is your favorite horror movie?
I was just about to ask that.
Top 3, perhaps. If you don't want to pick one, top 3.
Ooh, I don't know. I love The Silence of the Lambs with all of my heart.
Oh, Silent. Yeah,
I
classic.
don't know if that's necessarily a horror. Maybe a
It's a
thriller.
thriller, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's horror aspects of it for sure.
But like Anthony Hopkins in that is just magic.
Period.
I recently watched Late Night with the Devil, which is a newer one. That one I believe is from 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like a late night talk show host who is doing a special to try to like revive his show. And he brings on like a skeptic, a psychic, and this girl who is like rescued from a cult who is allegedly kind of still
Spiritually touched.
that.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I love it.
Period.
It's sort of shot like a almost documentary. It looks like you're watching.
Oh, those are kind of my favorite.
Yeah,
Period.
and they reference like real shows. Like they reference that he's like in active competition with like the Johnny Carson show from the 70s. I love it. I think it's a great movie. And then the original Carrie. I love her.
Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Such a place in my heart. I love it. But there's so many. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Civil War was not a horror film, I would say, but it definitely scared the shit out of me. Like, that was an A24 film that was about a civil war happening in like dystopian America, in around like present day-ish times, and that was really frightening. Just because it was very realistic.
I was gonna say you can just say America. We don't have to be redundant.
I know
do we?
it's really not dystopian anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a solid one.
Yeah.
Kind of like a fuck you up movie.
Do you fuck with
Hereditary? I like Hereditary.
Oh, yes!
Hereditary fucks hard.
There we go.
Who do we know that hates Hereditary? Was that Anne?
Oh.
That sounds like something Anne would hate.
I think Anne didn't like the pacing of it. The horror came in at the end and she didn't like that, but
Yeah.
I personally liked it because it was just a very, very slow build up.
I do love the movies that kind of they get weirder as they go. Like I saw the TV Glow. I don't know if that's a horror either, but I love that one.
Ms. Quinn was telling us about that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yes.
It's lovely. It's one that I've watched I think like 3 or 4 times now, and I think it's great. The score in it is beautiful, like the music. Like Phoebe Bridgers has a song in it too. So does Caroline Polachek and a bunch of others.
Okay, star-studded.
It's so good. I love it. It's very like I walked out of the movie theater like I'm not real. I don't feel real. I'm scared. Nobody around me is real. Nothing around me is real.
I have to ask this, and this is one of my favorites because it's the movie that like was kind of my gateway into horror because I didn't fuck with horror for a long ass time, and then I watched this movie and I'm like, okay, I like the creep factor. I really like the creep factor. Do you fuck with the Blair Witch Project?
Okay.
All right. It's controversial.
I would never actively watch it. If it were on TV and I was like in a hotel and there was nothing else on, I'd probably leave it on. Instead of like turning off the TV. But I don't know if I would ever go out of my way to watch it.
That's fair. I would never watch it again,
It's
but
just so
it was a good
slow.
experience the first time. Yes.
I would definitely recommend it as like a one-time watch for sure. But I don't ever think I would rewatch it.
That's fair.
At least go out of my way to. It's very slow.
It is very slow.
But I do appreciate like how real they kept it, which was. It was very slow. It was very slow.
The characters are believable, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. I appreciated that about it.
Bunch of friends bitching at each other that they should have turned left and all that. Yeah.
It was like the tension of it, yeah. What about you?
I liked not Insidious. What is the one about the kids? They watch the camera footage and then the demon.
Sinister.
Sinister?
Oh, I
Sinister
love
is great.
Scared the fuck out of me in high
Sinister's
school.
one
That's one
that
that I
I
would
probably wouldn't watch alone.
Yeah, I would watch it again personally.
Oh, I would absolutely.
It's spooky.
It's Sinister's
Yeah.
a good one. If it's nighttime and I'm by myself, I probably will not be watching that movie alone.
No.
I think I need like a buddy with me. But no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Insidious. What do you think?
I don't think I've seen Insidious.
You haven't?
Either.
I watched the first one. That's the only one that I've watched, but I thought it was really spooky. I liked it.
Okay.
You know, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I liked it spooky.
Period.
The demon was very spooky in it. I thought it got a little corny at the end, but that's okay.
Okay.
It's allowed to be.
Okay.
There's a whole cinematic universe around
Yeah.
it. Question mark? I don't know.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity I thought was really camp. I thought it was funny. Camp. Abigail. Abigail's a newer one. It's a vampire movie. She's like, this is in the trailer. I feel like I'm not really spoiling this. But she's like a ballerina. She's like 12 and she's a vampire. And she basically sets herself up to get kidnapped by a bunch of people and taken to a mansion where she's like held hostage, and then she starts like eating them.
That's kind of cunty. That's camp.
It's like camp, but it's also so well done. It's so well acted. The storyline is, I think, great. I love it. I own it on DVD. I think it's great.
Okay.
I recommend Abigail.
Abigail. Period.
Well, you were one of the twinners of Drag Duels Cycle 2.
With Miss Kenswell.
With Miss Kendall. What was your favorite and least favorite part of Drag Duels?
Well.
Let's see. It was very costly. I feel like I'm going to be repeating what a lot of people have probably said about Drag Duels.
Oh yeah, my second part is like, what advice do you have for people going into Cycle 4? So if you want to tie that in as well.
Have a lot of money.
Have a lot of money
set aside for Drag Duels. Have a lot of time set aside. I was working in a high school briefly when I was participating in Drag Duels, and I quit not because of Drag Duels, but it definitely helped to not be working while I was doing Drag Duels. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. The mental strain is insane, combined with like, I was also just going through it mentally at the time with like some other things that were going on, and it was like strenuous. Like, it was hard because we're also like, Ken and I were both really, really set on making all of our own outfits. We didn't really want to wear anything that was bought. That was something that we prioritized. So we're sewing, we're conceptualizing, and I don't know if people like, conceptualization it takes a lot of energy.
Oh, sure.
It's not
100%.
easy. So between all that, we had very little time to choreograph, so a lot of our dances were not choreographed, or if they were, it was like 2 nights before, and we had not had very much time to practice them. We were in the bottom most weeks. But we kind of like pulled ourselves up for the finale.
I mean, you won the thing.
Yeah.
You won the thing.
We put a lot of energy into the finale.
It showed. It really did. The looks were insane.
It was really fun. Like, I loved it. I felt like it brought out so much creativity out of necessity, out of like force almost, which for some people will definitely be detrimental if you don't do well under pressure.
Yeah.
Don't even think about doing it. It's hard. But if you do thrive under pressure, it's such a good opportunity, I feel, because it just forces you to like pull these looks out of anywhere that you can. Like, you have to make something for it. And it was very helpful in that it kind of forced me to learn how to sew with wovens. That's what got me out of stretch fabric. And it was, oh my god, I loved it. I hated it, I loved it.
It's like a Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing.
Like, we cried, it was...
But some of the most iconic like outfits and numbers come out of it. It's just...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, you find a lot of yourself in there. Like, I definitely learned quite a bit about like who I was as a performer, as an artist. Like, maybe I'm not so much of the pageant girl that I thought I was at the time. Leaning a bit more into, I don't want to say ethereal, but I like, how would you phrase it, I guess? Because I
thought ethereal was kind of close.
Like, learning who I am,
well,
I suppose.
Ethereal, conceptual, artistic. That was definitely... Artistic is the vibe that came out in Drag Duels quite a bit.
Artistic definitely feels correct. I feel like I learned that of myself, and being able to lean into that a lot. Leaning into learning that I can do slower songs, that's not an issue, because I used to avoid that a lot, but I was very excited to like sort of dip into that, especially with the finale.
What was the song that you did for your finale number? I forget.
Yes, I did When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish into Stained Glass by Madison Beer.
Yes.
And for the stained glass piece, I wanted to take that very literally, because there's a sound in the song of like glass shattering. So I was like, okay, what if I'm a statue being created actively by 2 artists who then become unhappy with their creation and then reject and destroy it? And all while I am the statue, I am the creation. And so they like brought me to life. They were like painting like literal, like actual gold paint over me, over my dress, over my face. And I'm holding these 2 like glass hearts that eventually they like take away from me. And I was like grieving over the loss of that, and then I like take them back during like sort of the second half of the number, and then I hold them up, and the two artists come from behind me and they smashed them. And it
was
flew
iconic.
everywhere, and it went just how I wanted it to. I had to learn how to work with sugar because I had to make these hearts out of like candy essentially.
Sugar glass, right?
Oh my god, I wasted so much sugar and so much time because my candy thermometer was broken the first time, so I couldn't make it. But we got there, made the hearts. My hands were so sticky, it was disgusting. But to this day, that's probably my favorite number I've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good one.
I like drag duels because it's like you have to just learn how to apply yourself and your drag into all of these challenges and these themes, and
absolutely.
really just figure it out. Which I think some people really need that push.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a pressure cooker, is what it is.
It like forces you into self-discovery, or if you're not good under stress, it will force you into quitting drag.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Stardust.
It's.
She jokes all the time.
It was. I don't know. Like It was a lot. I think you just have to know yourself in terms of whether or not it would be a good competition for you. But if you do think you thrive really well under pressure and you think you can handle it for all of the weeks and you have somebody that you're really comfortable working with, for example, like I had such a good experience working with Ken. We really didn't ever butt heads. We never fought. We were able to like have moments where we were working completely like chatting the whole time, listening to music, moments in silence, like just falling asleep wherever, falling asleep at the sewing machine. And it was great because we could work really, really well together because we just like understood like each other. So go into it with somebody that you're really comfortable with, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to ask, like, what do you think is better, like having a best friend with it, or having sort of a friend you're like you like the person, but maybe you're not necessarily the closest with them. Like
I
to start
think
out.
it depends, because some people want to do it with their best friend, but they realize that they don't actually work the best with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to be really close with somebody, but also to be able to work collaboratively with that person. Some of my closest friends, I know that I'm like, I could not work with you if you like gun to my head, we couldn't do it. I've had people try to cook with me. One of my like best friends, he was like chopping an onion in the kitchen. There are onions like all over the floor.
Oh, what the fuck?
This thing, I kicked him out. I'm like, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
You can sit and watch. So it depends. I would say it depends on your friends, on who you like. And if you know a stranger, not a stranger, if you know somebody like an acquaintance, I think well enough, just their personality, you can kind of gauge how well you'll work together.
Yeah, say Anne and Hunky got lucky.
They
knew each other.
didn't know each other very well,
Yeah.
and so then they worked together.
And they worked
top two with
beautifully
you,
together.
so.
And you
Yeah.
they eventually became roommates, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. And then they became not roommates.
Life.
What was I gonna say? Oh, what was your favorite challenge from Drag Duels from our season?
The finale. I loved the finale. I
Mhm.
loved the freeness of it.
I was so mad that like I didn't get to do it. I was like I had ideas like in advance. I was like, I don't know. I was gonna do this Valkyrie thing, like you know Brunhilde, like from That's Rheingold. I don't know, opera singer shit. Yeah. Anyways,
Love.
I'll do it. I'll do it some other day for myself, I
You
guess.
have your own company. You can do it whenever you want.
Yes, but now I don't get to do it then. Anyways.
I mean, the cycle is starting up soon.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I will never do that again. But
And what was your least favorite challenge?
Ooh. I'm trying to remember the challenges.
The roast, S&M, Club Kid, Best Drag.
Red Light District.
That's what
That was
S&M was.
Oh, sorry.
The roast.
There was a science week.
Yes.
Disney.
Was there a Disney week?
Disney
There
was
was.
the
Oh, that was a runway
that was
after
the,
this.
That was a roast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that runway was my least favorite.
Yeah. Wait, yeah. Who did you do for the Disney runway? I forgot.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
What a look. Not a good one. A look that I have done.
Yes.
Apparently.
One of the looks of all time.
Certainly.
Oh,
was
and
one
Wild
I
West 3000, I forgot.
Oh, I fucking hated Wild
That
West
was my
3000
least
Probably
personally.
that one. I think
Yeah.
that one was probably going to be my least favorite then.
Yeah.
Forgot about her.
It was a really cool one to do once, and then they brought it back.
Yeah. I was like, Cycle 1 did all the fun things.
Cycle 1 did it beautifully.
Yeah.
They did. They did.
I did not enjoy that challenge.
No.
That was not for me.
Every time I was suggesting an idea to Wanda during that challenge, I was just like, oh, what if we did like robotic like barmaids? And they're like, Slay and Harry did that last season. I'm like, well, shit. What else is there?
Yeah.
Oh, and we can't use guns. We
Right.
can't even we ended up just pantomiming guns, but it's like, how do you do a Western without like a pistol prop? I don't know.
It was
Yeah.
not my favorite.
I get
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Are you gonna do All Stars? I don't know if they'll let the winners do All Stars, but
I don't know. I don't know any of the details of it.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I hear whispers all the time, so I have no idea.
I think Kari and Priscilla are cooking it. Who knows? Who knows? Wait, did we ask you what your favorite challenge was?
Yes, I did.
The
Yes.
finale.
The finale. That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, me.
Okay, I only have a couple more, and then we're gonna go into some fan questions. So you also got a second title in 2023 by winning the Bloodbath Ball. Can you walk us through your package a little bit? And what was your favorite part?
I love the Bloodbath Ball.
Yes.
I will defend and support the Bloodbath Ball until the day that I die.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an incredible competition. I think it's put on beautifully. No complaints, none. I love it so much. The first year that I did it, I know that I love something if I do shit in it and I lose, and I still had the time of my life.
Mhm.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it. So for the next year, the first year I went into it hoping not to get booed off the stage. That was like a consistent fear of mine. So the next one I went into it with like, well, now I have to win.
Yeah.
Like,
well, now I
like,
have
I'm-
to.
Like I've decided, like I'm going to win this pageant this year. And for DIY, I made a dress out of paintings, so I just did like a bunch of acrylic paintings on different sized canvases, drilled holes in them all, used binder rings through the holes, and then drilled holes into a bunch of hula hoops, and sort of suspended the paintings between the hula hoops with the binder
yes,
rings.
right.
So cool.
And
was
then
cool.
another like layer, I guess, a row of paintings, if you will, with the rings attached to one of those like emo belts with all the holes in it that just went around my waist, and that was the skirt. And then I used a mannequin, which I layered thick layers. I wrapped the mannequin in saran wrap and then layered thick layers of acrylic paint that I dried with a hairdryer, and then like maybe a layer of Mod Podge, another layer of acrylic paint, and I just did these layers of paint that I eventually peeled off, and then literally like little loops of duct tape like stuck to my chest.
It was kind of crazy, and it was so cold backstage. You were shivering so hard.
I didn't think I was gonna be able to walk downstairs. I was so cold. I was frigid. I like painted my arms too. Just everything about it. I was so cold. It was freezing, but I loved it. I ended up. I'm very happy with that look. I never ended up posting it, which I still have been meaning to do. That'll come one day.
One
I was
day.
gonna say you have pictures.
I do
so.
have pictures.
so
They're not
here.
that great though, and I don't love my makeup in it.
Because
I had to make my makeup work for like all three looks. So I had this
yeah.
like all black and white look because all of the paintings were monochromatic. They were all black and white. And then I had a complete like turnaround where I did for my talent a doll. I wanted to be like maybe like the housewife that is kind of forced to maintain a happy face despite like the struggles or the unhappiness that comes with like being married to somebody that you don't care for, perhaps like in really any decade, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it still applies today, but much more in the 50s and prior. So I made have you ever seen those like Victorian sort of, not necessarily porcelain, but sometimes dolls that just have the really pretty dresses and the really, really curly like ringlet hair?
Yes,
Like
yes,
the
yes.
little bonnets usually. I wanted to like look like one of those, so I made a big dress that was like pink and had a ton of big lace all the way over. I made like a hat that kind of sat on the top of my head. I had somebody like just curl me up a wig into tight little ringlet curls. It looked exactly how I wanted it to. I loved it. And then I had Diora pose as the like husband who was just sort of reading the newspaper, and sort of like throughout the beginning of the number I did Smile by Nat King Cole, which I kind of hate that song. Like I love it. It's beautiful, but the message is like, it literally says like, smile though your heart is breaking. And I know that it's supposed to have the message of like stay positive, but it feels so toxic.
Yeah.
It's so like,
there is that double meaning there for
right,
sure.
like it feels like you're not allowed to feel the emotions that you're feeling, which I think it's important to be able to work through those emotions. So I wanted to really tap into like when people, because especially men also, they love to tell you to smile.
Yeah.
I've had every walk of life tell me I should smile more. I've had TSA agents, like people at restaurants. Like,
TSA agents.
I know.
Who the fuck smiles at an airport, first of all?
I'm like putting my things in the bin, and he's like, okay, he's like telling me, like, take your tablet out, take this out, take this out. And then he's like, one more thing you can do for me, you can smile.
Okay, fuck off!
I stared down this man. I was so not having it. I was already exhausted. I just straight into his eyes, unblinking. I've never seen somebody apologize faster. I didn't say a thing, and he's like, I'm sorry, like.
As he should.
As he should be.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I wanted to tap into that for that number, and I loved it. I ended up also making these, out of plaster, like thin layers of like a face that was painted like a sort of old doll that I had held up to my face, and it was smiling, and I had that held up to my face for the most part of the number, and then it switched into a more dramatic song where I eventually got up and I like smashed the face and was able to like get rid of the smile and be able to like get out of that, be like free, kind of come alive from being this like stiff smiling doll. I also had a teapot. I don't know why I wanted this so badly, but this was something I was set on. Those double chamber teapots where if you hold a hole on the handle or on the back, it creates a vacuum and closes off a chamber so you can pour two different liquids out of the same teapot.
Oh, yes. The ones that
Yeah.
people used to poison people with.
Exactly.
Yes.
So for the first part of that, I poured the tea at the beginning of the number, and it was tea in there. And I like drank some of it, and I tried to make it very clear that you could see it was tea. And then later during the number, I went and I, covered the hole, and I drank from the other chamber, and I got fake blood. So then I like drank straight from the teapot, and then I spit it out everywhere, and it was blood. And I only had 2 people come up to me and acknowledge that I did that. Because I don't think anybody could tell. Like, I don't think anybody really picked up on it, but it was something that I wanted to do so badly. And it worked perfectly, and I was very happy with it. And the people that did notice did appreciate it. They were like, oh my god, like, how did you do that with like the blood in the teapot? Like, was that in your mouth the whole time? Like, what was that? And someone noticed it, and that forever
That's
I
all
will
that matters.
appreciate.
Yes.
And then finally, I had my best drag, which I was like, bloodbath ball, hell, terrible villain era. I need to be like the devil, Satan herself.
Of course.
So I needed devil horns, and I've seen so many devil horns on
course.
stage, and they just aren't cutting it for me.
No.
Satan has big fucking horns.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen Tim Curry as Satan?
I don't think
Like
I
those
have.
big. Oh my god, I took a little bit of inspiration from that because they were huge.
As we're looking.
Yeah, so I made this big headpiece.
Oh, from Legend. Yes!
Oh,
okay,
okay.
period.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I needed giant devil horns. And I did make them giant. If I stretched my arm up as high as I could, my fingertips could not touch the top of it.
And they were like fully encrusted.
Fully encrusted, fully stoned, blood red stones. At the very tips, I did black, and then I did 2 little baby horns at the top of the headpiece as well. Because I was like, I need more than just the 2. I need some little ones as well.
Of course.
Didn't they just like put your crown on one of the horns?
They did. The 2 little baby horns, they kind of just rested on those.
Oh, perfect. Already.
And then I made a red dress to go with it because I was like, I need the focus to really maintain on the horns.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the big piece. But I love that look.
Yeah.
I can't wear it for very long because it's such a heavy headpiece.
I believe that.
Oh my god, it gives me such a headache. It hurts so badly, but I do love it.
What did you say the base was made of again?
It's aluminum foil. It is layers and layers and layers of aluminum foil, just
Wow.
wrapped up really, really, really tight.
Yeah.
I used, I think, 2.5 rolls total, full like unopened package rolls.
Oh, work.
So much. Packed really tightly into the shape of these horns, and then because I know you can use EVA foam, but the structural integrity of that frightens me.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. So I needed something heavy at the base. This really, really thick piece of industrial wire, one that's heavy enough that if you bend it with your hands, it's pretty hard to bend because it's just so strong.
Mm-hmm.
So that is attached kind of in between in a U shape between the horns to hold them up so that the weight couldn't fall.
I was like, I did not see them jiggle, and I was like, what are these
No,
fucking
they did
made
not
of?
move. I made sure that they did not move an inch. And then fully wrapped in like some different kinds of tape, Mod Podge paint, just a bunch of other layers on top. Painted again, stoned. Like it's a lot of layers, but I
LOL.
thought it was very worth it.
I love layers.
Yes, lots of layers.
LOL.
Same process with the deer antlers that I did. Those were not bloodbath, but that's a different look that I did. A little white Patronus look.
Period.
Well, we're going to take a very quick break,
Yes.
and then we've got some questions from our fans, and that'll be that.
We'll be right back. Wow.
And now a word from our original sponsor, Fruity Wigs. Hi, Fruits. It's your hairy diva, Miss Avocado, and Miss Ma'am. Did you know that she's been selling wigs for 3 years, officially? In that time, I've sold wigs to kings, queens, monarchs, and cosplayers all over the country. I've done a variety of styles, from updos, ponies, caged wigs, Marcel waves, to ugly styles. To commission your very own Fruity Wigs, or to see my catalog of styles, follow and message at Fruity Wigs on Instagram. Remember to check my Instagram story for themed flash sales of stage-ready wigs. Lastly, if you've worn a Fruity Wig and would like to be featured on the official Fruity Wigs Instagram, send a message with a picture you love in your Fruity Wig. And now I'm back to your regularly scheduled... Oh, shit, wait, there's another ad. Bye, Fruits!
Well, we're back. We're back! And we got some fan questions. Beelzebro asked, what horror films inspire your drag the most?
Oh my gosh.
That was perfect timing.
I don't know. I don't know if a whole lot of films inspire my drag, unless I'm like completely forgetting about a bunch of them.
Carrie?
No.
I feel, no.
Like, I don't know. A lot of my inspiration comes from like my dreams.
Okay.
I'll dream about something really fucked up and weird, or like even as I'm like drifting off to sleep, there's like images in my head, and then I'll like, see one that I like, and I will quick make a sketch based off of it, and it usually looks nothing like what I saw in my head, but it's like a basis for me to build something off of.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know though. Like, I feel like everywhere. I feel like I need like a little bit of inspiration just from like one little thing, and then I'll take that and I'll run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for the Queen of Hearts gown, there's really little reference to like any actual like visual depiction of her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like what I think she would be. Like I have like the really campy big like gold crown, and that's kind of it. Like she doesn't have like any faces on her anywhere in any of the other ones. The shape of the dress is not really like any of the ones that have been depicted anywhere else. It's an all red gown, which is also not something that she wears.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just need like a little piece of something, and then I kind of run with that. I don't know if it's anything from movies though.
That's fair. I mean, and that, I reiterate, artistic. I was like, if you find something and you're like, that's cool, I could do it cooler.
My therapist called me fascinating. I'm so close to winning.
Yes.
If anything, I know it's...
Therapists call her fascinating. Welcome to the stage, Ondine! Yeah.
I will win when my therapist needs her own therapy because of me.
Yeah.
If
Period.
anything, I get like a little bit of Elvira from you, which I know is already like a bit of an influence for you, right?
I love her. I love her as a principal.
Yeah.
My first exposure to her was one of those like rides in Chuck E. Cheese that you sit in and you kind of just like watch the screen and it like looks like you're going through a tunnel. And
She
I don't
was
know
in that?
why. She was like a guest appearance in one of them. She like kind of pops her head up and she's like, I don't even remember what she says. She's like you're ready to go or something like that. And then you go off, and I was infatuated. 4 years old, staring. Who is that?
Wow. I love Elvira.
She has huge impact on your life.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course. Actually, I have a question, because I've been meaning to ask you, what adjectives would you describe your drag with?
See, that's something that I always ask somebody else to do.
That's okay, that's okay.
I don't know. I like genuinely, maybe just like, maybe artistic. That's what I'm going for at least. I want to go for like something that'll make you, at the very least, a little uncomfortable, preferably a lot uncomfortable. Like I remember once climbing to the edge of the stage, I sat down for the instrumental introduction of my song, and then I opened my mouth and I let a bunch of blood fall out.
Yeah.
And I have a video of that, and there are two guys that are sitting in the front, and one of them, you see his head just... It's one of my favorite videos. That's like kind of the reaction that I'm going for. Or like when I had a bunch of fish hooks that I...
Oh, yeah.
Like little baby prosthetic pieces of skin that I like stabbed these homemade like oversized fish hooks into so I could pull them out on stage and look like I was ripping them out of my skin. And then I would like make audience members do it, and I'd make them grab a hook and pull it out, and everyone thought it was super gross.
I loved that.
That was my favorite. Yeah. I love doing that.
I was gonna say, I would say, if you want an adjective, I would say visceral. You tend
like
to
that.
you
I
go
enjoy
for
that.
visceral things. You go for the blood. You go for like the really red part of the eyes. You go for tearing something out of your skin. And I always remember your performances when you go artistic on them.
I love intensity. I love
Yes.
just like something that'll make enough of an impact. Something that I see that I don't always love. Sometimes it works really well, but oftentimes it doesn't. Is when I see people using blood. It's just so much. Like they'll dump it all over their entire outfit, or they'll take like a dress that's off the rack and they'll just kind of pour blood on it, and it does not have the intended effect. I think.
Yeah.
It just looks very. It's like too much, and I feel like less is more sometimes, especially when it comes to using things like blood or using any sort of body horror. I think often less is more, and that's not always the case. Very much that is not always true, but often when I see it, I think it's not done the way that I would choose to do it.
Well, and it's like, what's the story? Why are you bleeding here?
Well, I think-
how did that happen?
I think a really smart thing that you do in your performances is that you do present like this very pretty image, and then the twist comes. And I think that is one really smart thing that you do in your performances.
I think that comes from my original goal, and this is not a joke. My original career path when I was 3 was I desperately wanted to be a Disney princess.
Period.
That was the dream job, if you will. I loved the dresses. I loved how they moved, which actually might be a slight cause in the way that I do move.
Wow.
on stage.
Yeah.
Just a slightly worse version of the Disney princesses. If you make them a little shitty, that's me.
She's a Disney princess, but she's a little shitty. Ondine, welcome. Yeah.
So I don't remember where that was going. What was the question?
Oh shoot. I asked you about adjectives that you described to your drag. Did we ask a fan question?
No.
Was that just developed
You
off
were-
that
you were
question?
just- you were
I went
just
off on a
rambling.
tangent. Sorry.
I love it.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing.
All right, fan question.
Okay, Ms. Diagnosis asked, which woodland creature produces the cutest carcass?
Ooh, that's a good one. I love a baby horse.
A baby horse.
Yeah, they're little, because they already kind of look like carcasses when they come out. Very skeletal.
Yes.
Very
Very.
I did have to bring a baby bunny down to the valley in my backyard after I got to watch my dog kill it. That was really cute. Incredibly traumatizing. I sobbed for hours.
Shared experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, shared experience.
Didn't you guys run over a couple with a lawnmower?
No, don't tell everyone that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There were baby bunnies living in our yard because we let our grass get too long. Don't do it. Mow your lawn. And
It's raining a lot. What was it?
It was raining a lot. We couldn't mow it. Anyway, so yeah, we found their warren. We tried to shoo them away, and then, but eventually they just came back and they just kept running around, and Wyatt was mowing the lawn, and we heard a thing, and yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, is one still alive of that clutch of 3
I
bunnies?
don't know.
I don't know. One got away.
I've seen a fair amount of carcasses, I guess, and I don't know what I would describe as the cutest. I think I'm sticking by horse or bunny. Baby horse specifically. I've seen, foxes. Foxes are kind of scary, the carcasses.
Yeah.
I've seen those under the eagle's nests,
yeah.
Mangled.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
So maybe bunny or horse.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
We're going for cutest here. Yeah.
cutest. Yeah, I'd say bunny or horse.
Fair enough. What do you think about chipmunk?
I don't know if I've seen it. I have seen a dead chipmunk.
fair.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, fair enough,
I
fair
stick by bunny or baby horse.
To each their own.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Ms. Diagnosis also asked, would you rather have ticklish bones or have to host a drag bingo in a locust swarm?
Am I getting paid for this?
No.
Oh,
Oh, wait, for the bingo in the locust swarm? Oh, for this podcast. No.
to answer these questions, I guess that depends. Is the locust swarm like town spread, or is it just maintained in this one venue, or is it just in me, around me and my desk, within the square foot around me?
I imagine it's in the bar.
I would imagine it's around you. I would imagine it's distracting and inhibiting a little bit.
Okay. Do I know about it in advance, or do I walk in and suddenly there is a swarm?
Think of it like a nightmare, you know? You get in there and you're like, well, I guess I'm doing this. And
So,
then you start doing it, you know?
So I haven't brought, headphones or anything to protect them from, going into my ears,
No.
is what you're saying?
Ooh, good
No,
question.
Because
Yeah.
that is a
Is that
is
something
a
you
fear
would
of
do?
mine. I would want, like a bee suit or something, and just like quantify that a little bit.
Yeah,
just
of course.
go through that, but it wouldn't be very loud. I suppose. So maybe that would be distracting. Are the ticklish bones forever?
I think so.
I guess the bingo then, because that's not forever.
Yeah,
that's fair. Or, now, how would you tickle a bone?
Well, you'd have to have ticklish bones first.
Oh, how would I know? Excuse me.
Like this.
That was just my armpit. That's cheating.
You're both in there.
Already, I don't like the sensation.
But yeah, no, I think locust swarm, because also I'm not like afraid of locusts the way that I am other bugs. If you said like house centipedes, that would be a different story.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're fast. Oh,
I
they're
think I would
fast.
say like
They're nasty.
gun in my mouth before you can finish the question.
Well, yes.
Well, yes.
Locusts I'll take.
Spectrum asked, fashion inspirations.
Probably again, like dreams, visions, hallucinations, if you will. Do you guys hallucinate when you get really tired?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit.
Some of that.
Mostly I see shadows, but...
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that, but sometimes they're shaped weird and that'll inspire things. Trauma. Like visualizations of that, how I interpret that into a look. And normally it'll be in such a way that you can't tell what it is. Like, it'll just look like a look. But I know what it is, and I like that.
Yes.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Quinn Munson asked, what inspires your mug and how did you land on your makeup style? It's so unique. I added the pause to be annoying.
What about your makeup?
Women.
I used to
Mostly.
not paint quite so pale. It used to just be a little bit paler. It was actually just, I think, my foundation straight up with some lighter concealer and then white powder to lighten it all. But it really wasn't very much lighter than my actual skin tone. And I had somebody at the open stage night, without fail, almost every single time they saw me. I just love how you use like white face paint to do your face. Just my foundation shade. I used to be really dark as a kid. I used to go outside a lot. Those tie jeans would really come through, and I was dark. That's not a thing anymore because I'm afraid of the outdoors.
Yeah.
The outdoors and the sunlight. I carry a parasol with me when I go outside. That's not a lie. But
It does fuck up your skin.
I did start painting paler just because I think it's fun. I think it looks fun. I never do pure white. I do half white foundation and half the foundation that I was using before. So that when I do like my inner corners or like any of the brightest white places are the brightest white places and they look whiter.
Yeah.
But there's not too much of a distinction if you're not looking at those places. So it does just look white if you're just kind of looking at it from afar. But it'll just add an extra like bit of highlight from my inner corners or any extra white that I add. I would say I do that just out of like intensity.
Like almost like a corpse color. Like it's like that is your skin, but it's like
Sorta.
you haven't seen a lot of life in the last couple days.
Like I want to look a little bit ghostly.
Yeah.
I paint as big as I do, I would say, or as big as I started doing. Do I paint big? I don't know.
Yeah.
You paint pretty big.
Okay, I'll say that. But that was like a priority for me when I started because I was like I'm an A-type queen and I didn't want to be clocked as just like not wearing any makeup or as just looking the way that I do. And the highest compliment that I get is when somebody who hasn't seen me out of makeup does for the first time and I'm like, hi, it's good to see you. And they just kind of stare at me and they're like, hi. And then they figure it out. And I love that. I love that feeling. It means I'm doing a transformation because to me drag is about a transformation.
I agree.
I think if you look like the same person in and out, then maybe you're not doing something right, or the way that I would do it at least. I need a visible transformation to happen. I love when people can't recognize me in and out and they don't know me.
That's so funny. We were just talking with Katie about
We were.
that in the last podcast. But it was transformations, exactly what she said.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe the words were wear makeup.
Yes.
Well.
But that's a big part of it. And then I don't know, black just adds such a contrast, so I use a lot of that on my eyes. I have very Asian eyelids, so if I close my eyes, if I open my eyes, unless I completely close them, I don't have a whole lot of like lid, which is why I do as much black liner as I do. I kind of just extend that, so it's like a forced eyelid. I feel like a lot of people do that. But that's the reason that I started doing it. And then the rest of it, I kind of just let the brush do what she wants to do. I let her dip into the palette and play with what she wants to play with. And sometimes I hate it. I very, very, very seldom go into it with a plan. and that's not always a good thing, but it ends up with a slightly different mug every single time, and I'm okay with that. I do prefer not having the exact same face every time I go out, because I think that is such a big part of my drag is my makeup. So I need her to not get stale.
That's fair.
Because again, I don't dance.
Yeah.
Why would I? I don't dance. How could I?
And then Lapse in Judgment asked, gay.
Gay?
No question mark, just gay.
Oh, gay.
Yeah.
No period either.
And actually, this was a question that was for another podcast guest, but I thought you might want to answer it as well. Any tips for other AFAB queens? It seems more difficult for us to be successful, is what Allure Rose asked. I don't know. I just figured it was like an interesting topic that
It's a good question.
you briefly mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, say more.
Sorry, I was having a moment.
Yeah.
I
Get into it.
I don't know if I don't know how to say this without sounding horrible. I don't know if I relate to that. I will say, going to the bar and not being in drag, there are many moments, if I don't know anybody there, or if I'm not already with my friends, I do not feel welcome, straight up. Like, I do not feel like it is a space that I'm wanted in as just, like, a woman. I feel like I'm looked at, no matter how I'm presenting, as maybe, like, you know, the girls in the bachelorette party that love going to the gay bars just for, like, a field trip.
Yeah.
Is how I'm looked at all of the time, no matter what. And that is disheartening, I will say, because there's not a whole lot of other spaces, like, for me. And, you know, I don't always want to go, like, the Black Heart, like, the soccer bar. I would like to go to, like, a proper, like, party club. And I will say that is not a space where I necessarily always feel welcome. So that is a concern. But that's when I'm out of drag. For in drag, I have actually been very fortunate in finding people who have always been really, really incredibly supportive of me. Like, through my entire career, I've never felt any form of, like, discrimination really as like AFAB queen, person of color, anything like that. I felt very, very welcomed this entire time by really everybody that I've run into. And perhaps that's not the same case elsewhere. Like, I don't know how that is outside of Minneapolis, having not really performed anywhere outside of it. But that's not really been an issue for me. Like, the community's always really, really held me, and just been so kind and supportive the whole time. And I don't know, that's something that I feel like I can't really say enough of. Like, I'm so grateful for it, because I really had not found my people ever, like, whether that be in elementary, middle, like, high school, any time. I felt like I just was different enough, not rejected, not, like, bullied or anything, but I didn't feel like I had found my people until I found the drag scene, and I felt so held immediately. So that's something that I will always be grateful for. As far as, like, being an AFAB queen and standing out, I would say, if this is you, then I guess don't change you for the sake of, like, bookability, but don't do terribly natural makeup, because you just kind of look like a girl then, just like a person. I generally don't prefer that on anybody. Like, I like to tell when somebody is wearing makeup, and it's not just like you can have a soft femme face and still look like there's a significant transformation going on.
Yes.
But definitely, like, take the time, glue your brows down. If you want to start from your natural brows, shave them off, glue half of them down, and just start the shape from there. Do something, make sure there is a transformation happening, because you can do a very soft femme face and also have a significant transformation. I know a lot of people that do that, and they do it beautifully, incredibly. So make sure it doesn't just look like you in and out of drag. You know, wear a wig.
I was just about to say.
Personally, I have very long hair out of drag, and I've had a lot of people tell me, like, you should just use your natural hair in drag, and that is something I will, until the day I die, I refuse to do it. Like, I might go out in makeup, and with my hair down, not dressed up, just in a face, but that's not for performance. That's just to go out. That's just because I want to have a face on. When you're performing, I would say wear a wig, unless you want to, like, be bald in which case that's its own statement. But like
Period.
maybe like paint your head, wear a hat, wear an accessory, do something.
Or like a topper. Put your hair in a ponytail and then put a wig on that ponytail even.
It depends.
Depends, yeah.
I think it depends. Sometimes to me even that can get very just boring.
Yeah.
I think make sure your outfits are, and this is for everybody, this isn't just for AFAB queens, because this is a judgment that I have for all people. Just like, I don't know, don't be boring. Like, if you're gonna get an outfit and you want to dress it up a little bit, don't just do a scatterstone. Do something big to it. Cut some holes in it, re-sew it, shape it, make it fit you like a glove. And if, you know, if all of that is out of your budget, like, is this controversial? I would say if everything, like if all of the above is like out of budget, out of reach, just not a skill level yet, if you think your makeup isn't there, you don't have the money for wigs or outfits, you don't know how to sew, you don't want to know how to sew.
The makeup for
anything
money for
that,
wigs, makeup.
It's okay to wait. Like, it's okay to just be a bedroom queen for a while. Like, I was learning how to do my makeup throughout, like, most of COVID.
Yeah, that's when we learned.
Yeah, so, like, I was fortunate enough to not really have to deal with people seeing, like, the crunchiest of my origins. But, like, it's okay to wait.
Yeah, if you're not in a good place to do it, don't do it. Like, if you've got all the resources and you think you can, then yeah, absolutely go for it whenever you can. Well, but, like, if you're not there, don't, do it too half-assed.
Yeah.
I mean, above all else, practice. And,
Right,
yeah.
And it's okay to have a crunchy face. Everybody has a crunchy face.
Oh, yeah. I left mine up. It's there if you really want to look.
But, like, if it's just, like, beyond fixability, whether that be due to budget, time constraints, like, whatever, it's okay to hold off and just take that time to practice and better your art. And I think that's important to, like, focus on. And especially, like, even if you're already doing drag, even if you already do it for, like, a certain amount of time and you're not feeling good about what you do anymore, that's me. That's me all of the time. I very often get very tired of what I present. Take a break.
Nocturna takes year-long breaks.
Yeah, take some time to, like, refigure yourself out and like, focus on it making you happy, because it's really not worth it if you're not happy doing it.
Yup. I was gonna say we were getting beaten down, downtrodden back in like November, and we were just like, we're just gonna not do drag for a month.
Yeah.
I didn't
and now we're
drag
back.
for, like, any of November, I think, and it was lovely. It's nice because otherwise you get burnt out, your art suffers, and your mental health suffers. Everything suffers because of it. Like, it's okay to have a little break.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of artists can relate to this when you're like working on something, a drawing, a painting, a sculpture, whatever.
Yeah.
And like you're just working on it, it's just not fucking working. And so then you just have to take a step back from it.
Walk away.
You put it away for a while, and then maybe like a week or a month later you come back and you're just like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see all the flaws, you'll know exactly why things weren't working the way they were.
Yeah.
And if you can't see those yet, maybe your break's not done.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that kind of leads me to, you already kind of covered a lot of stuff, but what are your 3 quick tips of drag that you would share with anyone?
Yes.
That's experienced people, new people, whatever. Just 3 things you think people need to know.
Don't fucking suck.
Period. Next.
No, I think
Quit drag.
I would say definitely as a priority, make sure it's making you happy. Like, don't force yourself into it if you're really, really unhappy doing it. I've done shows where I'm not in a good headspace for it. Maybe what I'm producing is all right. I've had people, like, compliment me on it, but I've had shows where I just feel like shit the entire time. I'm on stage, I feel terrible. All I want to do is leave and, like, curl up. I just am not feeling good. And some of those performances I've had high praises on. I've had really good compliments on them, but it doesn't matter in the long run if I'm not happy. And I think a lot of people need to consider that for themselves. You can be doing objectively well and not be in a good place mentally. Take that into account. Don't let yourself suffer just for the sake of it, because it should be fun of all else. Like, it's such a fun place to be in. It's such a fun thing that we're doing, and yeah, it's just
not like
worth
we're
it.
getting rich doing it.
No,
So yeah.
if anything, I've lost so much money doing it.
Yeah.
So much money I've lost. But I love it. Like, it's don't do it for the money.
Don't do it for the money.
Do it for the money.
I promise there's no money in this.
You will spend so much money on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just transportation to shows. Like, it's time, it's money, it's everything. I don't know, what else?
Let's see, we had 2.
Have at least 2 things that you're really good at. Hair, makeup, outfits, dancing, performance, comedy,
charisma. Because you
yeah.
could be dog shit at drag, but if you're like fun to be around, that's nice.
True. Or you have a lot of friends and you're very good at making friends, that kind of thing.
At least a couple of things that you really, really feel comfortable in, because you just need at least like something to line. You don't have to excel at every category. I don't do wigs. You could not pay me enough money to do wigs. It's not for me. I don't like working with hair. It's like clay that hates you.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I love working with clay. Hair is not clay.
It's like clay that hates you. I fucking love that.
It's like sticky cotton candy that it's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't like working with it. I will always pay somebody else to do my wigs. But then I can put all of my my efforts into sewing and like my makeup and conceptualization and trying to come up with new outfits often. If you really, really excel at dancing, then you don't need new outfits all of the time. You can reuse anything. You can have something really, really plain because you need the space. You can't have the extra fabric weighing you down to be able to do those bucks and kicks and stunts.
I'll watch Demita dance to a reading of the phone book. Like, I really will.
Like, there are some things that just, like, have something that you're really, really comfortable with, that you're really happy with what you're doing in drag.
I was saying, like, I just sew and I host and produce shows.
Yeah.
I'm not a good performer. I'm decent at burlesque, but, like, my big thing is I want to be on the mic. I want to be sewing. Yeah. So find your one or two things.
I think I style wigs. That's what I like about it. Yeah, period. Exactly. Very good advice.
Pick one or two things. Do you have any more? Was that 2 or 3 tips?
Was that 2 or 3? You said, okay, wait, let's review. You said, enjoy it. Yes, point blank period. Enjoy drag, if you're going to do it at all. 2, have 2 skills, or maybe more, that you're very, very good at. And then, did we have a third? Or was the first one like 2 different things? Because you also said take breaks.
I have 2, actually. 2 more. And they're both smaller ones. Take photos.
Oh,
so
Take
true.
a lot of photos. I forget to take photos all of the time. I have so many looks entirely undocumented, and I regret it. I regret it a lot. And because now I've gotten to the place where I'm like, well, I don't like that outfit so much anymore, so I don't want to post it anymore. But then I'm like, well, shit, now I've never documented that look.
Yeah.
Or you're like, you get home from the club and you're just like, God, I looked so fucking good. And you're like, all you have are other people's pictures and they're dog shit.
That's one of my resolutions, is to take more pictures in general of myself, but also with people. I don't have a lot of photos with
Me,
people.
it was your birthday, and I was like, I have like 1 picture with Ondine. That's not we have gotten very close in the last year, and I don't have any pictures with her.
One of my most used apps is my camera roll, just because I will spend genuinely so much time just going through my photos. I love looking at photos. I don't even have to post them. I love looking at photos of me with my friends, being like, this was such a good night. Like, I love it. It makes me so happy. Take photos. You don't even have to post them. Like, do, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Do it because it's like fun. It's nice to have them. It's nice to look back.
They're your memories. Collect them, yes.
And also, be fucking nice.
Be nice!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. It's everybody's stage. Everybody's working towards the same goal. We're all probably a little stressed backstage, maybe very stressed backstage. Maybe like the timing isn't going well for the show. It's held up because of something, because of conflict. Maybe your outfit's not turning out the way that you want to. We're all dealing with it. We're all living the same life in a different font. And that's with everything. That's not just drag. But like, give yourself and especially everybody around you some grace with everything. And if you're really, really, really feeling especially bitter and you really just can't control it, like, that's okay. Maybe just sit in a corner to get ready.
Or
have
leave.
some time to yourself to breathe,
Yeah.
to just listen to some music and gather yourself, so that you're not like distributing that energy, because it does distribute very quickly and it can make for a very sour show.
Take a breath.
Be nice.
Be nice.
Be nice.
That brings us back to rule 1, which is take care of yourself. Take a break. Yeah. So
Oh, and wear deodorant.
Oh, and wear deodorant. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think every podcast we're going to end with wear deodorant.
Wear deodorant. Brush your teeth. Floss your teeth. Floss your teeth.
Floss your
your
teeth.
teeth before a show.
Take Prilosec. We all drink alcohol and eat bullshit, and you might have GERDs and not even know it, and your breath will smell like shit from that. I'm not lying. Like, you can brush your teeth, you can floss, you can do all of that stuff, but your breath might still smell like literal shit because you have GERDs. Your esophagus is digesting itself.
And drink water. Drink some water.
Drink
Drink
water.
water.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't want to drink water because I feel like I'm going to get too bloated to wear a corset. Drink water.
Drink
What
water.
was
It's
that?
so important.
What was that, like 10 drag tips? Period.
And on top of it,
Wealth. That's a wealth of information. But Ondine,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, well, where can people find you?
Yes.
Probably at home.
Real.
I don't post on TikTok, but I do have it. We'll see if that lasts because I think it's getting banned.
Yeah.
Mostly on Instagram though. I'm quite active on Instagram. Not as far as like a posting schedule, but I do post on my story a lot. I love my story. No, if you need to reach out to me at all, hit me up, send me a message. I check Messenger all the time. My notifications are on for that. Messenger, Facebook, same thing on Instagram, Facebook. I don't use Snapchat. I hate it. It's the worst thing in the world.
It's pretty bad.
I think I've deleted it by now. Actually, I can't remember if I have.
What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram. Oh, it's at Ondine, Ondine. It's spelled like online, but if you replace the L with a D. And then _ Cella, Cella, like cello, like the instrument.
But a lady.
But feminine.
Yes.
So is it cella or cella? Because I feel like I keep hearing different things.
Cella.
Cella's the Italian pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Cella is American, and I do not have a preference.
Cool.
I was gonna say I always go for cella.
Cella.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cute way to say Coachella. I'm going to Cella.
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 Yes.
I feel so European sometimes. My name is French. My last name is Italian.
Yeah.
And I'm not French. I am Italian though.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go make some pasta. So
We're going to go make some.
In the meantime, we will see you very soon. Thank you all for watching the podcast.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining
Thank you for having me.
us.
This is so much fun.
Period. And until next time, bye. Wear deodorant.